Now at 5:30 on WKYT this morning, President-elect Donald Trump will head to Washington today while many across the country protest his election win. How that's impacting the change of power.
Also here on WKYT, police are warning a Lexington neighborhood to be on the alert after a string of crimes. Why some homeowners are telling others they need to lock up.
And Big Blue Nation is like a family on and off the court, especially this year. We'll hear from the Calipari's son on his role on the new basketball team.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Kentucky mornings start right here on WKYT, including these little frosty ones that we're beginning to have.
Yes.
I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Andrea Walker. Yeah, Frosty Friday came a day early, didn't it?
It really did.
It's chilly out there.
May get one of those too, it sounds like. We're kind of on a roll. Thursday morning, November 10th, and let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
You know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was thinking, you know, it's November or October and going into November, and I kind of want it to be a little chilly outside. And I walked outside this morning, I was like, that was a bad idea. 32 degrees in Danville. It just does not feel good outside. You have the frost on the windshield. You're going to have to scrape that off. That may take you a few extra minutes. Just doesn't feel good this morning. You have to blow out that heat there on the in your car as well. By the afternoon, you can get rid of it, though. Roughly 60 degrees, so it actually doesn't feel that bad later on today. That's average for this time of year. And then we go throughout the night. We're not as cold, but we're still pretty chilly. And this weekend forecast is much colder. Yeah, I'm going to show you some 20s in your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, let's get to the news this morning. President-elect Donald Trump and his wife Melania will be traveling to Washington today. They'll be at the White House to meet with President Obama and First Lady Michelle.
The high-profile meeting comes as Trump and his transition team prepare to take over the White House. But Trump's win is sparking protests across the country, including right here in Kentucky. Dozens of students gathered together for a rally on UK's campus last night. One student tells us they want to make sure people who may be feeling uncomfortable or scared after the election have a safe place on campus. Students at WKU also protested overnight, and police there say at least 3 students were arrested. One student at the protest says she's afraid to leave her house after the election.
Yet here we are in 2016 electing a president into office who just gives a voice to those people who constantly terrorize people like me. Like for me, I'm a gay woman, and I can't tell you that I am not afraid to leave my house after what has happened. I hear all kinds of rude comments in the streets, you know, people who feel like it's okay now.
A Trump supporter at the protest said the nation needs to focus on coming together. Hannah Daniels has the latest on the protests across the country.
Not my president! Not my president!
Anger over Donald Trump's stunning election continued to boil over into the early hours.
He's a racist, homophobic, xenophobic nightmare.
Moments after burning an effigy of the president-elect, demonstrators in LA marched along the 101 freeway, shutting down traffic for hours.
They're protesting democracy. Democracy was at work. Democracy is what played out.
Businesses in New Orleans were damaged, fireworks set off in Oakland and New York.
You are unlawfully in the roadway.
Police arrested several protesters, blocking traffic along various Trump properties.
Hundreds of protesters lined the streets of Fifth Avenue across the street from Trump Tower. This as President-elect Trump prepares for his meeting with President Obama at the White House later today.
We move in ways that some people think is forward and others think is moving back, and that's okay.
Hillary Clinton urged her supporters to give Trump a chance.
Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
Trump stayed out of the public eye yesterday, privately meeting with his staff to go over potential cabinet appointments. In a tweet, his transition team pledged to, quote, begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream. Hannah Daniels, CBS News, New York.
Trump, along with Vice President-elect Pence, will also meet with House Speaker Paul Ryan today during their visit to Washington, D.C.
Donald Trump earned nearly 2/3 of Kentucky's vote, easily winning the state's 8 electoral votes. That also led to big wins for Republicans at the state level. The GOP won control of the state House for the first time since 1921. Republicans now lead both of Kentucky's legislative chambers. Democratic House Speaker Greg Stumbo was among those who lost his seat on election night. Republican Jeff Hoover is expected to be the next House Speaker. He said Kentucky Republicans have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
It's a big challenge. We're ready for it. The people want things done differently. They want a different tone, and we're ready to lead in that effort.
Republicans say Kentuckians will see more cooperation among lawmakers now that the GOP controls both the House and the Senate. Now, for a full list of results from the election and the ongoing stories during the transition, just go to our website, WKYT.com. University of Kentucky campus police have issued a crime bulletin this morning.
This comes after a reported sexual assault on campus. Our Michelle Chamberlain is at the WKYT alert desk this morning with the details.
Yeah, students say this is obviously a frightening crime. This morning, police at UK are investigating a reported sexual assault on campus. 2 female students told UK police that they were assaulted in a dorm room. Police say the alleged suspect is also a student who they both know. Now, this crime has students cautious about whom they meet on campus.
I will make sure that whoever I surround myself with, I can trust them, and I feel like there's nothing I have to second guess about them.
UK police say the crimes happened Monday night, and they say they received the report yesterday and then issued the crime bulletin. So far, police have not released any other details about the investigation. Andrea?
Michelle, thank you. A crime alert is issued in a Lexington neighborhood this morning. Police say they're investigating a home invasion and an attempted burglary in the Pinnacle neighborhood. That's near Tates Creek Road and Man o' War. Police tell us these crimes happened on election night. We're told someone tried to break into a home on Clavis Court but ran away. Not long after, police say thieves made it inside a home on Pinnacle Court. The couple says the thieves stole a few items, including a flat-screen TV. The homeowners say the thieves got in through an unlocked window. They're now warning others to always lock up. Right now, police say they don't have any information about possible suspects.
For weeks, wildfires have been causing problems across southeastern Kentucky, and now we've learned that some of those fires have led to charges against a teenager in Harlan County. WKYT's Lauren Miner is at our live desk with a story that is new this morning. Lauren?
Good morning, Bill. A Harlan County chief deputy says police think this teen is responsible for setting a number of recent fires. For more than a week, forest fires have burned thousands of acres in the mountains of Harlan County. The Nolensburg fire alone has grown to be 7,500 acres. Crews say that fire has been one of the hardest to control because of the rugged terrain. The teen charged in this case is under the age of 18, so we haven't learned his name. Police say he put several lives in danger. They think he's responsible for most of the fires in the Clover Lick area. He's charged with wildland arson and wanton endangerment, among other things. Reporting at the live desk, Lauren Miner, WKYT.
A Lawrenceburg man has been charged with assault after he allegedly threatened and attacked a high school volleyball coach. The Anderson News reports Kenny Holland allegedly choked the Anderson County High School girls volleyball coach before a match on October 10th. The paper got this video, you can see it right now on your screen, showing what happened at the match. Holland is a parent with 2 daughters on the team. He is scheduled to be arraigned December 1st in Anderson District Court.
Friends and family will say goodbye today to George Bucky Salee, the longtime bugler at Keeneland. Salee died this week. His wife says he died from natural causes. The Lexington native retired from the historic track in 2013 after starting there in the early 1960s. His family says Salee loved Keeneland, the horses and the kids that were out there. Bucky's funeral is later this morning at 11 o'clock at the Georgetown First United Methodist Church. Bucky Salee was 87 years old.
Well, Big Blue Nation is like one large, loud family up in the stands.
All right, and now that's true on the court as well. UK coach John Calipari is coaching his son, Brad, this year, and no one is more excited about that pairing than Ellen Calipari. But she and her husband know that it won't be easy. Our Jennifer Palumbo talked to the proud parents in a WKYT exclusive.
It was a hard decision. It wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't a given.
What if someone talks about your son?
I'm on it. I said, if you don't see me during the game sitting in my seat, I had to go choke somebody.
You will now find Ellen wearing Brad's jersey and cheering him on at the games. She is proud and protective of her youngest son, especially when it comes to playing time.
She already told me he's playing, you'll see.
He can make some shots. And his sisters are saying, you know, they're really happy right now that people can see what we knew he was capable of.
Right, he's a pretty good player.
He's really good. There is nobody working harder on this team than my son.
Coach Cal says he expects to be at Kentucky for at least 4 more years. Cal also says he is excited about this season. You can watch the entire interview with the Caliparis right now on WKYT.com.
And don't forget, Kentucky tips off the regular season tomorrow night against Stephen F. Austin at Rupp Arena. Game time is at 7 o'clock, and you can catch the action on the SEC network. I don't know about you, but I would not mess with Mrs. Calipari.
It's very fun to see the family dynamic going there, right?
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it is. All right, time to check live drive traffic this morning on your Thursday. Let's see what's going on as we're approaching 541. Here's a look at the region, and it looks good. We have no problems on the interstates or any other major roads this morning.
All right, now let's take a look outside, courtesy of the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government live drive camera. As you can see, things are still pretty clear this morning. It's a chilly one, so be prepared to scrape off those windshields this morning.
This looks a little colder, doesn't
it? It does. You can feel the chill in the air.
Yeah, lots of big events coming to downtown here in the weeks ahead. You know, the tree lighting and the parade and so forth. More news coming up for you this morning here on WKYT.
Still ahead, some voters in North Carolina had a fun way to ease their worries. Find out how some poll pooches helped out on Election Day. That's coming up right after Micah's forecast.
We still have that frost advisory until 9 a.m. this morning. However, it gets colder this weekend with a potential freeze. I'm going to show you how low we go with those numbers coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We're looking across Kentucky cams and seeing frosty conditions. That is the main thing early this morning you're going to be running into. If you hated those 70s and 80s the past few weeks, well, you know, here's your shot at actually seeing if you really want that cold air, because it is downright chilly in many locations. I was checking the dew points, and dew points, basically where the dew point is, that temperature can't go below that. So it can fall as low as the dew point, which is the measure of moisture in the air. Now, checking those around town, Frankfort, we're at 29 there for a dew point, meaning we could drop these degrees a little bit more. Lexington, yeah, you're not going to drop too much more, and that goes for Jackson and Moorhead either, as most of us are actually above freezing with those dew points. So most of us will stay temperature-wise above freezing. Frosty start this morning. You have to scrape that windshield. There's no doubt about it. I had to do it this morning. All 3 of us actually had to do it this morning. Afternoon sunshine and also average temperatures. That's the key later on this afternoon, is we'll be roughly about average, so it's not all that bad. Friday, we see a weak front move on in. Now, it doesn't move in through the day. It actually comes during the evening and off into the night. And what happens then is it's going to usher in some pretty cold air. Saturday, check this out. We're going to be seeing highs in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. It's going to be very chilly. We're talking partly sunny skies and also some breezy conditions, so it's just not going to feel great. But date back toward yesterday, if you had sunshine yesterday, it wouldn't have felt too bad. I know we're still very chilly, upper 40s, lower 50s, but that's what we're going to be feeling again this Saturday. So yesterday and Saturday, pretty much the same, except for the look of it. We'll have some more sunshine later on this weekend. Hey, don't forget, follow me on Twitter, Micah Harris WX. I already got a picture early this morning from you guys out there. Frost on the car early this morning. Don't know where that location is, but honestly, it's for everybody, okay? So this is from Zach Adams. Zach429, follow him on Twitter as well. You're going to have to scrape it off the windshield once again and turn that defrost on too. 7-day forecast, here's your look. 60 degrees today. We're at 58 for tomorrow. It's overall just a cool pattern in store. But you know what? This cold air does not stick with us throughout the next couple of weeks. I was looking a week out from this week, and actually it looks like we're going to warm some things up and then drop back down. So that's just the way it's going to go the next few weeks. There's no just cold spell where it stays cold for the next several weeks. It doesn't happen anytime soon. So we will get some warm-ups. We'll get back in the 60s, maybe squeezing out a 70-degree reading here or there in the next week or two. We'll see, but nonetheless, the cold is not really just here to stay.
Well, that's
We're
good
going to have
news.
some breaks. Yep,
A little
absolutely.
trial run here.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you, Micah. 547 now. We've talked about election stress and ways that you can stay calm during the storm of politics that has been ongoing this year. Well, one North Carolina county put some of those tips to good good use.
Yes, they did. One precinct in Wake County near North Carolina State's campus helped put voters at ease. They had cookies, flowers, snacks, and even puppies. Yes, they did. A group called Pawfect Match brought around a dozen puppies to the polls. They foster rescue dogs, and voters could pick up and cuddle with pups for some much-needed emotional support. Now, I wish they would do that at my polling place. Oh, look how sweet.
All right, the suggestion's been made.
Yes,
We'll see.
that's right.
Maybe next time. No elections in Kentucky next year, so
it'll be a while.
Yeah, get to take that year off from politics, right? At least no scheduled elections. You can have specials.
All right, well, coming up, we'll get a look at the stories making news at this hour.
Going to check traffic again this morning. We'll see how things are moving along, some health news and a lot more. It sure is good to have you with us here on WKYT this morning. Good morning. Welcome back in. Coming up on 5:52 on WKYT here on your Thursday morning. It's a frosty one out there. Be prepared for that.
Be aware, yes. Yeah. Let's take a look at some of the stories we're working on this morning.
Right. University of Kentucky campus police have issued a crime bulletin this morning. They're investigating a sexual assault report on campus. They say 2 female students were assaulted in a residence hall room. Police tell us the suspect is a male student that the victims both know. UK police say the assaults happened Monday night. They've just gotten the report and issued the crime bulletin.
Friends and family will say goodbye today to George Bucky Sallee, the longtime bugler at Keeneland. Sallee died this week at 87 years old. The Lexington native retired from the historic track in 2013 after starting there in the early 1960s. Bucky's funeral is later this morning at 11 o'clock at Georgetown First United Methodist Church.
For weeks, wildfires have been causing all kinds of troubles across southeastern Kentucky, including all of that smoke. We have now learned some of the fires have led to charges against a teenager in Harlan County. A chief deputy says police think the teen is responsible for setting a number of the recent fires in the Clover Lick area. He is charged with wildland arson and wanton endangerment, among some other charges.
Topping your national headlines this morning, President-elect Donald Trump and his wife Melania will head to Washington today.
At meeting this morning, they'll be meeting with President Obama and First Lady Michelle. A high-profile meeting comes as Trump and his transition team are preparing to take over at the White House. Speaking from the White House yesterday, the president called for national unity to ensure the process goes smoothly.
And despite the current president's plea, Trump's stunning victory is triggering protests across the country. Demonstrators gathered outside Trump properties in several major cities into the early morning, some chanting "Not my president" in New York. Police made dozens of arrests. And students protested here in Kentucky. Dozens gathered together for a rally on UK's campus last night. One student tells us they want to make sure some people who may be feeling uncomfortable or scared after the election have a safe place. Students at WKU also protested overnight, and police say that at least 3 students were arrested.
In an emotional concession speech yesterday, Hillary Clinton urged her supporters to give Trump a chance to lead. President-elect Trump has vowed to be a president for all Americans. In a tweet yesterday, his transition team pledged to, quote, begin the urgent task of rebuilding our nation and renewing the American dream.
Time now is 5:54 on your Thursday, and a study may have solved a mystery about premature births. That's top of the morning's health headlines.
Researchers may have pinpointed one reason why mothers give birth prematurely. A study from Nationwide found children's hospitals that indicates that calcium deposits in fetal membranes may cause a woman's water to break before the baby is fully developed. The research suggests changes in diet may help prevent those calcifications. And too much time on your smartphone could be damaging your beauty sleep. Researchers in San Francisco tracked hundreds of smartphone users over a month. The average screen time was 3.7 minutes per hour. Longer times were associated with poor sleep quality and less sleep overall, especially when phones were used near bedtime.
And a new study finds adults who regularly drink sugary beverages have a 46% higher risk of developing prediabetes. Researchers say that means roughly 1 can of soda per day, but that diet soda does not have the same association. All right, let's get a check this hour on today's traffic trouble spots with Live Drive Traffic.
See what's going on as we take a look at the region this morning and some of the times that you could travel from Lexington to these areas. Nicholasville, Versailles, Frankfort. It's a good ride out this morning. We have no delays reported anywhere. Nice ride from Richmond, just 22 minutes at this point as folks are moving along fine.
And here's a look at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's Live Drive Cam. Right now we're looking at New Circle and Winchester, and as you can see, pretty quiet this morning.
That's right. Folks just now waking up.
There they are. They're coming.
Yeah, there's the light change. All right, we're going to check in with Micah this morning on weather. We're going to get some of that sunshine and it warms up through the day, but this morning it's pretty frosty out there.
That's right, Micah.
Very frosty. Not only that, but we have some freezing temperatures too. 32 now in London, and as you go up north, we're still sitting there at 32 in many locations too. So it just goes to show you, anywhere across the region, just know this: you're going to be walking outside into some very chilly conditions. You will need that coat this morning. More than likely, you'll need it much of your day. This afternoon, we're actually roughly 60 degrees in the forecast. So there is some good news. We're 37 right now in Jackson, and then headed over toward Prestonsburg. We're doing all right this morning. Not looking all that bad at 38 degrees. We go through your day, like I said, we'll finish off right there around 60 degrees. So it's one of those days that teachers know this. The morning hours is going to be pretty chilly. We are rising very rapidly, but you can throw a coat on them as we'll be dry today. And heading off into the afternoon at 60, it looks pretty good as they're coming home from school, the kids. And then off towards your evening and nighttime hours, still don't see any problems. It's just going to be overall a chilly pattern all the way through your weekend, where we could potentially see our first freeze and maybe even a hard freeze. We're going to go over that coming up. Another 1 hour of WKYT News.